Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of your favorite Monday night show, Monday Night Customs Analyst Desk. I'm your boy Dwayne, and this week we have a special guest analyst. Say hello to Lucy. How's it going, Lucy?
Hi, y'all. It's an honor to be here. Truly, an honor.
That's a good gaming voice too. It's an honor to be here, Lucy. I'm aware that you've been watching a lot of League lately. How's the world going?
It's going. I expected better. Should not have expected better. But we do this every year, so I know how it goes.
Oh yeah, the familiar heartbreak as soon as groups is over. Well, I hope that your familiarity with Worlds and the current meta will help you share some insight into our customs, which are just like pro games.
Oh, I'm sure. And even if it doesn't, I'll have thoughts anyway. I guarantee it.
Well, our meta is shaping up to be pretty interesting. I think most of the time, because of the format of our customs, we've got basically 5v5 all-out brawls on Howling Abyss. You're going to see a lot of team fighting. So I hope you like that. And without further ado, let's kick off the first game. Actually, we only have one game to talk about today. And it's a banger. Oh boy. So let's look at these team comps.
All right. So let's start with blue side. We've got Silas, Set, Alawi, Janna, and Kog'Maw. So basically the way this breaks out is we've got a hyper carry in Kog'Maw ready to handle tanks, and Janna is there to protect him while he gets it done. We've also got Silas, who can steal and use ults from the other team, and so in this case he's there to handle anybody who's not a tank that's getting handled already. Red side, we've got Leona, Swain, Caitlyn, Rammus, and Fiddle. Tank, tank, tank. There's a lot of AoE damage here.
Well, yeah, I agree pretty much on all points here. I'm wondering, what do each of these teams want to do? Like, how do you see their win conditions playing out in this game?
So the way it looks to me is the blue side, they want to split up fights. They want to break the red side apart to waste a lot of that AoE damage and allow their specialists to handle specific members on the red side. So they want to break fights out into multiple spots. The red side wants big, coordinated team dives. They don't want to let the blue side break any of them apart. They don't want any of those people running away. They want everything bunched up so they can handle things in a coordinated fashion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. You got 4 divers on the red side. I guess the only thing I'm worried about here is poor Corey on the Caitlyn sitting in the back line all by himself. I hope he's able to survive.
I I do too. I never like to see anybody, solo, but in this case, that seems to be kind of we'll see what he can accomplish there.
Another thing I want to point out before we look at the first clip is Kog'Maw's looking at 4 AP, mostly AP damage divers on him. So I want to see a Wit's End early from Kog'Maw. Absolutely. Without further ado, let's kick off the first clip.
Let's go.
So our first clip is pretty early in the game. We're only 3 minutes in. Nobody has items. Let's see what happens. So we've got a couple people coming from base on both sides. I think the Silas is just about to spawn, and both of the tanks on the red side are coming in. Kog'Maw gets caught right at the beginning under tower, but is able to make it out. The Canadian Moose on Alawi is able to save him. And Rammus is coming in. Oh, he's speedy. He gets there way before Leona, goes in all by himself, gets CC'd, takes about half of his health and damage. Silas goes in afterward. Leona goes in right after Rammus leaves, and then Alawi is able to help Silas finish off Swain. Caitlyn has to flash out, and we've got a brawl on our hands. Fiddle's able to get some AoE healing down, and Leona goes in with him, and there's a huge CC combo with Set and Janna knocking everybody up and absolutely decimating the red team. Huge team fight win for the blue team. Break it down for me, Lucy. What exactly happened here? What went wrong for the red team?
So to put it really simply, they were too separate. They did not make a coordinated effort to go in all at once. Rambus goes in, then Leona goes in. They wasted that AoE on Fiddle by being separated out, and so that's the gist. They forgot right away their win condition.
Yeah, you're right. And the blue team, as you pointed out at the beginning, they really want to segment these team fights. So this really big, scrappy, uncoordinated mess definitely helped the blue team out. Let's see if red team can pick it up in the second fight. We'll zoom on ahead about 5 minutes. All right, here in our second clip, everybody's got about one item so far. One thing to note is we have a lot of healing in this game, and only one person really has an effective anti-healing item, and that's Silas. And he's already looking pretty good at 7 and 4. Oh, it looks like Illuminati gets caught out under tower, and there's a huge AoE wombo combo. Oh my gosh, it's impossible to cast what's going on here, but basically every champion has popped their AoE ult, and we've got an entire cacophony of spells all over the map. And it looks like it's about even. It's 2 versus 2. Right at the end, Silas gets picked off, and he's able to take Leona as he goes down. But just about everybody died. 4 people on each side in the span of about 5 seconds. What happened here?
Well, everything happened. Everybody did their job. Everybody used their ult. We started this fight pretty even in gold and ended this fight pretty even in gold. So what you saw is people showed up. They did their job. That Fiddlesticks ult was much better than the last time in terms of reaching everybody, but it didn't push things ahead. We kind of started even, ended even.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do like how that the red team was able to go in all together that time and actually get their ults off. It looks like they're a lot stronger when they have their ults up. The Swain ult, the Fiddle ult, like creating kind of like what the LCS casters often call a Venn diagram of death. So
that's a good point. I will give them props. They remembered what they're there to do.
Yeah, let's see if they can pull it off again. We've got a third clip at about 7 minutes after that. That's right. We're in for the long haul here. All right, it's still 19-19. The gold is about dead even. Silas is popping off. He's got 2 items and he's 11 and 5. Everybody else has about 1 item. And we kick it off with a Fiddle ult right in the back line, and Swain goes in at exactly the same time. They're able to get a perfectly coordinated ult off, and once again, it's a huge team fight mess. People are dropping left and right. Silas is still alive though, and he's going in on Sexual Pancake on the Fiddle. He's able to pick him off, flashes onto Corey's Caitlyn, and it's a 1v2. Can he take him? He uses his E, dashes to Corey, takes him out under tower, and we've got another tied fight once again. Break this down for me, Lucy. What happened here?
So again, like you called out, things are pretty even. We end again pretty even in things. But this was a really great engage from the red side. But Silas with that stolen Swain ult is kind of double draining tanks the entire time. Like you called out the previous fight, the healing reduction is just kind of not present here. The red team did not prioritize Silas, which let him just kind of sap everybody. And we end as a 5 for 5, but we see Silas end with 15 kills, and so he's big and scary. And one thing to call out after that healing reduction comment is that they did purchase, red side purchased some healing reduction immediately after this fight. So they're starting to pick up on the fact that this is a problem.
Oh yeah, you can see it in Swain's inventory. He immediately gets the Oblivion Orb. Clearly that was something that popped up in comms. Yeah, it looks like Silas is totally taking over this game. Do you think red side has any chance of winning at this point?
I mean, I'm an NALCS fan, so I believe. I always believe.
Wow, that's really optimistic. Well, let's zoom ahead to the end of the game then and show the final clip. We're actually zooming ahead 17 minutes now. This game was an absolute banger. It did not end. It's actually still going. All right, so right at the end here, we have one big fight left. Kog'Maw, we've got a good trap line set up by Caitlyn at the bottom side of the lane, and Kog'Maw just walks right in between 2 traps, looking for a 1v1. Absolute ballsy. Caitlyn hits him with 1 auto, a net, and a headshot, and 2 shots him, absolutely takes him out at the beginning of the fight, and now we've got a 5v4 on our hands. Red side seizes the opportunity, and AoE ults in with Fiddle and Swain, but on their backline, they've got Caitlyn getting jumped on by the 2 tanks. Set and Alawi are able to take her out, but their entire team is dead, and they get cleaned up, and it's a 5-for-1. Red side absolutely takes over. How did they come up with the victory there?
Well, I'm really excited to see that we get a clip where we get to see Caitlyn take down Kog'Maw, because while it is super cute that he just like waddles his way through her traps, you know, we didn't get to see the magic of what Caitlyn's there to do for this comp, and we do in this clip. We can see too that, you know, since the last clip, she has popped off and she's got 22 kills to her name by now, so she's getting stuff done. But yeah, basically, I would call out that I think the red team did a good job with the healing reductions that they've now purchased of prioritizing handling Sylas at the top of this fight. So they didn't have the sapping going on of their ultimates. And basically, they were able to get their AoE ults off where they needed them and control what the blue side was doing in a way that played right into their hand.
Yeah, that was a really good engage, and you know, we've been talking about their anti-healing items this entire time. It looks like both Swain and Fiddle were able to get their Morellos, and so when they're dropping the AoE ults down on the enemy team, they're able to kind of keep Sylas in check. Sylas wasn't able to get to the backline there. He was peeling for Kog'Maw. I don't think he should have been there. And now, a spoiler alert for the rest of the game. Sylas now goes in and ints the first fight, or the final fight rather, gets absolutely decimated, and blue team go on to win the game. So our winners are actually blue team. Kind of surprising. Credit to Kog'Maw though for pulling it out in the end, surviving the final fight, and absolutely wiping out all of the tanks on the red side. So congrats, blue team. We want to try something different this week and award an MVP award. And it was honestly a really close call between two champions in particular, two players. Ben Miner on Sylas was an absolute house, but I think we had to give it this week Corey's Caitlyn. Even though they lost, Corey absolutely popped off on Caitlyn. I thought he played really well. It was really hard for him to play Caitlyn in that game with so many people diving on him, and his KDA was through the roof.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky thing to do to maintain your distance and stay where you need to be when you've got, you know, a comp that is dive focused and there's a lot of action happening and you're supposed to sit back and bide your time. But you know, in the end, we see that with his KDA and that he got stuff done for this team, and that's exciting.
Yeah, what an exciting game. Honestly, what a banger. There was so many fights that were so close. I mean, you know, 4-for-4s, 5-for-5 even on the tower dive with Sylas versus Rammus in that third clip. I thought it was a really crazy game.
Yeah, I love an even, you know, something that's even instead of a runaway. Cough cough. I like that. That's exciting. So good job to everybody for hanging in there.
Yeah, so as somebody who's been watching Worlds a lot, what did you think of this game? How did it stack up to the Worlds game so far?
I'm trying not to be that harsh, but I think you guys could do it. You know, I think you could make it. Maybe not all the way, but from some of the showings that we've had, you know, you could get there.
All right, sounds good. You heard it here first, folks. Our customs players can make it in the LCS.
Like I said, I believe.
And we have our own little JoJo Pune in Down Bed Miner, so sounds good to me.
Love it.
And with that, I think that'll call it for this broadcast. This was your boy, Dwayne and Lucy. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see y'all next week. If we can, we will kick off the cast of the games shortly. Thanks, everyone.